Welcome to Friday Focus, May 20th, 2016. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some mechanism we're going to use to grow the business. We've obviously been growing, had a lot of growth in 2016 so far, and plan to continue that. And then in order to accomplish that, we need to start thinking about things differently. I certainly have. I've changed from being the doctor and seeing the patients to being more in a leadership role. I realize today that I need to spend more time with the new doctors and PAs, doing not necessarily some training, but helping them to learn. There's things that maybe that I started doing years ago, and I trained person A who trained person B who trained person C, and some of those things got lost. So I'm going to spend more time kind of going back to basics, doing less of the patient care myself and doing more mentoring. Okay, and I like to think of the word learning more than training. Training is something that you do to somebody, but learning is what we want from them. And that brings us down to maybe one of the common hurdles that I see happening. There was a time when we had a small practice, and there was 30, 40 of us here, and people would ask me questions, and I'd answer them, and they'd have a problem, and I'd find a solution, and lay out my opinion on it, and they'd go ahead and carry it out. And that's sort of a standard, leadership model. So you have a leader, and then you have people who follow. Okay. But let's imagine now we have different layers of leadership and different layers of people who have to carry things out, and we get this really complex kind of an umbrella. It almost becomes impossible. And I want to move from a leader-follower model more to a leader-leader model. That's where basically instead of you asking your leader or your lead person how to solve something, you figure out the solution yourself, maybe give them a heads up on it, but you don't actually ask them to solve your problem, because the person that's least likely able to solve the pain or problem that you're coming up with is the person who's not really doing that job. The person that's most able to is the person that is doing the job. One of the things that stops people from making decisions, like you make decisions on your own in your life, in your home, in your family, when you're driving your car, but sometimes when we go to work, we drop that ability and we want to ask people what to do. And that's kind of normal because people have one big, say, barrier to growing and to making decisions and to becoming successful. The biggest impediment to success and growth is focusing on avoiding mistakes. And I'll tell you that avoiding mistakes, if that's a big, say a big push of what you're doing, you'll never grow. In fact, you have to have some failures in order to achieve growth. If you went about a whole year without making any mistakes, everything went perfect, all your decisions were right spot on, you probably really didn't grow at all. You're just kind of doing the same old thing. If you went to situations where you avoided mistakes by always asking your boss to make decisions for you, and you let your boss make mistakes, your boss actually grew and you did not. Okay? And in the leader-leader environment, which is carried out in other industries, it's different than the leader-follower environment. The leader-follower environment was kind of designed for manufacturing and farming. So for example, let's say you have agriculture, you have a big farm, you got to pick all the cabbage. You hire a bunch of people to go pick the cabbage, and you tell them what to do. You get on your knees and you use this knife and you cut off the cabbage, you throw it in a bucket. Or you might have, and you have one person who can lead a lot of people. Or you might have an auto plant where you have the shift supervisor telling the line supervisor what to do, and everybody's assembling parts. And that is the leader-follower model, which was designed for labor, for building things. Okay? And we're hiring you not for your ability to build things, but we're hiring you for your brain. If you're hired for your brain, you really should think differently about this leader-follower model, because if we're hiring you for your brain, we're wanting you to make decisions on your own. And there might be some guidelines that you have to follow to make the decisions, but most of them should be based on what's the end outcome. If you know what the end outcome is, give a great patient experience, respect their time, give them the best results, then you can kind of use that model to make decisions rather than ask somebody something. I'm seeing that now where I had a situation where I wanted the cosmetic staff to start talking to their patients about veins. They want a vein screening, they want an HRT screening, they want a derm screening. And I told them more or less what I wanted them to do, which was me, the customer, is saying, as a customer, I would like you to see you figure out how to talk to patients about these things. And I saw Kayla and somebody else talking about how they're going to do it. Well, we're going to make a form, and we're going to put it in this part of the chart, and we'll sign our initials when we got it done. They didn't ask me. They didn't ask Teresa. They didn't ask their boss. They decided what to do. They understood the leader model. Okay? And if they had said during the meeting, Dr. Moak, where do you want us to put this sheet at? Dr. Moak, where do you want us to, when do you want us to ask them? How do you want us to sign it? Do you want us to initial it or use their signature? That's a leader-follower model, which we don't need. We can't grow anywhere. That's kind of me making a decision on that. I really can't do that. I'm not the end user. A leader model is where we move from labor to using your brains. In most jobs here, you're hopefully using your brain. Sometimes you're actually doing some labor. You're doing, anesthesia, or you're doing a procedure. There's some labor involved, but most things we're doing are brain involved. And if you're using your brain, you got to kind of get your head away from asking your boss, your leader, your supervisor every decision to make, and start making them yourselves, and accept mistakes. Because avoiding mistakes leads to no growth. When you focus all your time on avoiding mistakes, and you might think you're not doing that, but if you're always asking what to do, when you have a problem to solve and you decide, well, I got to ask so-and-so, I got to ask my manager, my doctor, my boss, the front desk lead what to do, you're basically focusing on avoiding mistakes, and you're asking your manager to make the mistakes. You don't have to. But that'll keep you from growing. Whereas if you know there's a problem that needs to be solved, and you make a shot at solving it, and it doesn't work out, don't do an autopsy on your decision. Just change it and do something else. If it does work out, you just grew. You actually became a leader. And if those of you watching this video now, a year from now, if you're still here, still with our business, you're going to be in a leadership role. You're going to be training some new people, and I'm going to expect you to take charge of the new people coming in and training them, and take charge of the decisions that they made in the office every day. It's nonstop. As we've gotten more complex, and there's more things that we do, and there's more people that we have, things have gotten way more complex, and we can't rely on top-end leadership or management to make all these decisions. I should be doing some predicting. I want to do some innovating, and I want to make some major decisions. But I've had to learn not to make minor decisions. And then if you're currently in a management role, and somebody comes up and asks you, how do you want us to do X, Y, Z? The answer is not answering the question, but asking questions. Engage in a dialogue and let them figure it out themselves. You should be growing your people all the time. And we're a growth business, and we should be growing our people. This Friday Focus is not crystal clear. It's an idea I've been trying to create and trying to come to terms with over time, and I'll brush up on it a little bit and talk about it later. We're going to change our leadership style here, where you're given a lot more autonomy to do things on your own, but I expect you to start doing them and stop asking. Okay, start making decisions on your own and making things happen. And then when you do make a mistake, just learn from it. That's what I ask in turn for mistake. You make a mistake, that's fine. Learn from it and do something else. So thanks for Friday Focus. Good luck.